Number 5. Skydiving record. On October 14th, 2012, Austrian base jumper and all-around daredevil Felix Baumgartner used a helium balloon to attempt one of the most death-defying, dangerous, and questionable stunts ever. At a crazy altitude of 128,000 feet, roughly 39,000 meters, Felix achieved the then record for skydiving by jumping from his vessel in a heart-stopping dive towards Earth. The entire event was televised and built up well-deserved anticipation for those watching the slow climb before Felix launched himself into a freefall. At his highest speed, he reached 1,342 kilometers per hour, making him the first man to break the speed of sound. Crazy, right?
See if you can get a respiratory count. Speed 546.
You've been falling 25 seconds.
Speed 600 miles per hour. 650 miles per hour. Speed 700.
Felix, you calling me? Can anybody understand him? 1 minute free fall.
I have been following speed for a long time. Sounds like I have to pass out.
Showing Felix in a stable descent.
1 minute and 30 seconds, and stable as a rock.
In the free fall.
Corner.
Felix, you're really stable. You've fallen 3.5 minutes.
And we had a good shoot on Felix at 8,000 feet.
Climb. That was really tough.
Felix, we're so proud of you. You did absolutely fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. I couldn't have done any better myself. You'll let go.
And Felix is back to Earth safely, the new world record holder.
Number 4. 1972 Olympic Massacre. In 1972, during the Summer Olympics in Munich, West Germany, a Palestinian terrorist organization called Black September took 11 members of the Israeli Olympic team hostage and demanded the release of 234 prisoners. The 2-day stalemate was broadcasted and inadvertently provided the terrorists a look at the actions from tactical forces, giving them a dangerous edge. The hostage situation unfortunately culminated in a failed hostage rescue attempt at the Fürstenfeldbruck Air Base. At the end of the conflict, 17 in total were killed, including the 11 Israeli Olympic team members, 5 Black September members, and a West German policeman. Tragic, if you ask me.
A masked gunman steps onto the balcony of 31 Connolly Street in Munich's Olympic Village. He knows the world is watching. Hundreds of TV cameras in place to cover the Olympic Games, now trained on this window. Inside, 2 Israeli athletes are dead. Another 9 Israelis held hostage by a group of Palestinian gunmen calling themselves Black September. A hastily established crisis team is trying to negotiate their release. The terrorists want hundreds of Palestinian prisoners released from Israeli jails. Nothing else will do. Security at the Games was minimal, and for reasons still unclear, officials also appeared to have ignored one of 26 possible terror scenarios, which specifically warned of a possible hostage-taking by Palestinian militants.
Number 3. Tohoku, Japan. On March 11th, 2011, a magnitude 9.1 earthquake struck off the northeast coast of Honshu on the Japan Trench, and the entire catastrophic event was caught live. The tsunami that was generated by the earthquake arrived at the coast within 30 minutes, overtopping seawalls and disabling 3 nuclear reactors within days. The 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami event, often referred to as the Great East Japan Earthquake and Tsunami, resulted in over 18,000 deaths, including several thousand victims who were never recovered. 2,523 remain unaccounted for after 2011. Nature can be brutal.
And could only watch in horror as tsunami waves inundated their city, knocking buildings into rubble and mixing into a kind of tsunami soup filled with vehicles, building parts, and contents. Seawater cascaded over sea walls and into cities. This video shows the water rushing over an 18-foot seawall into Kamaishi City. The seawall here was the world's deepest and largest, but not enough for the magnitude of the March 11 disaster. It was the largest quake ever known in Japan, and one of the 5 largest recorded in the world. More than 28,000 people are confirmed dead or missing.
Number 2. Challenger disaster. On January 28, 1986, the space shuttle Challenger broke apart 73 seconds into flight, killing all 7 crew members aboard. To promote the Teacher in Space program, NASA had arranged for many students in the US to view the launch live at schools with their teachers, and it was covered nationally by CNN. The spacecraft disintegrated 46,000 feet, 14 kilometers, above the Atlantic Ocean, off the coast of Cape Canaveral, Florida, at 11:39 a.m. It was the first fatal incident involving an American spacecraft in flight. NASA had since said that it had recovered remains of each of the 7 Challenger astronauts and had finished its 3-month operations to retrieve the wreckage of the space shuttle's crew compartment from the ocean floor.
It was a bitter cold but sparkling clear morning at Cape Canaveral. Here, the last seconds of the countdown.
3, 2, 1, and liftoff. liftoff of the 25th Space Shuttle mission, and it has cleared the tower.
All the communications between the shuttle and mission control indicated everything was going fine. There was a sense of relief that the much-delayed flight was finally underway.
Engines at 65%, 3 engines running normally, 3 good fuel cells, 3 good APUs. Engines throttling up, 3 engines now at 104%.
Challenger, go at throttle up.
Challenger, go at throttle up.
It happened just over 1 minute into flight.
1 minute, 15 seconds. Velocity 2,900 feet per second. Altitude 9 nautical miles. Downrange distance 7 nautical miles.
From mission control, silence. Then the bland, chilling report.
We have a report from the flight dynamics officer that the vehicle has exploded. Flight director confirms that. We are looking at checking with the recovery forces to see what can be done at this point.
Number 1. Manila Hostage Crisis. August 23rd, 2010, a man who had been fired from the Philippine National Police, Rolando Del Rosario Mendoza, boarded a tourist bus in Rizal Park and took the passengers hostage. He was extremely upset due to the fact that he had been fired after misconduct with a suspect. The 10-hour standoff was witnessed by millions in real time and was even live streamed on the internet. Mendoza had watched his brother get arrested via the bus TV and got even more upset, and in turn decided to shoot hostages. The tour guide and 6 tourists were shot by Mendoza and died. 7 were critically injured. Mendoza was eventually killed in a shootout with the police. Tragic.
Philippine policemen stormed a bus with 15 Chinese tourists on board Monday night. The final assault began after shots were heard inside from the dismissed policeman holding the tourists hostage. It was a dramatic conclusion to an incident that had been playing out for much of the day in a wealthy downtown Manila neighborhood. Several hostages were brought out of the bus alive in the end as police and ambulances were lined up next to the vehicle in the pouring rain. Some did appear visibly distressed from their ordeal. Several were hurt. Some didn't make it. Officials said at least 8 of the tourists died, and police said the hostage taker, former Senior Inspector Rolando Mendoza, was killed with a sniper shot to the head after he wounded a police sharpshooter. It had been broad daylight when the crisis began. Manila's police chief said Mendoza had hitched a ride on the bus carrying visitors from Hong Kong on its return from the historic walled city of Intramuros. But on the way, the former policeman, armed with an M16 rifle, declared he was taking those on board hostage. He released 9 people hours into the standoff, but wanted guarantees he'd get his job back before freeing any more. That didn't happen, and tensions rose as the sun set. Police flattened the tires of the bus to prevent it from driving off. Then the driver dashed away from the bus, warning Mendoza had opened fire on the hostages. The driver was escorted away from the area under heavy guard and intense media scrutiny. That was the point when police decided to make their final assault. According to newspaper reports from 2008, Mendoza was among 5 officers who'd been charged after a Manila hotel chef alleged police falsely accused him of using drugs to extort money. His brother said Mendoza felt injustice had been done. After the standoff had ended, Hong Kong's chief executive said he was disappointed in the way it had been handled, while the Philippine president said it highlighted the need for more equipment and training for security forces.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you get notified about all our top 5 videos. Hope to see you soon.